Fox News national security analyst Walid Phares as well. Is your many hats, former advisor to President Trump. You're a good friend. You're a good friend of the show. We're seeing you too much.
Too much, unfortunately.
And it seems as though we're going to be seeing you more.
I hope not.
But you fear you will.
We will, unfortunately, all of us dealing with this issue, because at the end of every wave of attack, what we start to do is basically investigate this attack. All the dimensions, everything. Where were they radicalized? Where did they become extremists? The only thing we do not investigate is the next attack, which basically the preparation for begins at the end of this attack. Where they will come from, who is supporting them. And more importantly, I noticed this time is that the public is asking the question, Leland, what do you expect us to do?
Well, at some level, the public says, hey, we have to go live our lives, as the British are really good at doing in the face of this. And yet, we're not able to prevent the attacks. It seems like, to your point, there's a big focus on how to prevent a vehicle-borne attack, not a lot of focus on how do we stop this radicalization process.
That's right. That's what we have been focused on for the last 10 years.
We screen objects at airports. We try to...
Everything. I mean, everything from the genesis. How does this ideology come to the mind of people? So, the battle is in the mind of individuals. How do you prevent that? And what is that ideology? And I think on both sides of the Atlantic, we are way behind. We haven't so far addressed the public, like Winston Churchill, for example, about the enemy and about which kind of war we're in.
Well, we heard from President Trump in Saudi Arabia address that issue. He framed this as a battle between good and evil. You brought up Winston Churchill, 77th anniversary of the Battle of Dunkirk. The British were slaughtered. They retreated across the English Channel. And the speech that Churchill gave, he said, we shall fight in the beaches, we shall fight on the landing grounds, we shall fight in the fields, in the streets, we shall fight in the hills. And he ended with that famous line, we shall never surrender. It's a famous speech. I doubt Theresa May's speech today will go down in history as having that kind of impact.
Look, Leland, the Prime Minister basically said two good things. One is that she identified the threat. It's Islamic radical ideology and movements. That's good. Second, she said we need to do something else. But the entire establishment in Britain and Europe and partly here is not even acknowledging that that the public needs to do something about it, and that the government need to work with the public to create that resistance that Churchill created.
To that point, though, President Trump tweeted out saying that we need to end the political correctness. And almost every time after one of these attacks, certainly after San Bernardino and the latest Manchester suicide bombing, people said, oh, yes, I remember him. I wanted to say something, but essentially I was afraid of the political correctness police.
That's right. That's why we failed so far in doing the vetting, the real strategic vetting. That's the reason why.
So what happens here? Is there a time for a change in the rhetoric to a more Churchillian view of the world?
Absolutely. If Congress and the White House comes together finally on one thing and say this is the ideology we need to confront and this is the battle that our public needs to be part of, at least in understanding, I think we can move forward.
Well, you have to wonder how many more attacks before that comes together. We had one congressman on, it seems, earlier. It's going to be a long time till he comes to that conclusion. Walid, thank you very much as always. Hopefully it'll be a while till we see you again.
Hopefully.
All right.